Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Boss Rush Podcast Patreon pre-show. I am your host, Corey Darian. Alongside me, as always, is the PC Muscle Race himself, LeRon Dawkins.
Hey, everyone.
LeRon, I'm going to lose my job to you. What everybody's saying.
No. You're not getting fired.
The word on the street is I am getting fired.
Who are these streets?
Go outside.
Sesame Street?
Yeah. Elmo and Big Bird told me I was getting fired.
Oh, don't listen to them. They're just pieces of cloth with someone's hand up their ass.
Oh.
No easy way to transition out of that. Also here, I could have said, never mind. Also here is the mad pharmacist herself, Stephanie Klimov.
All I can say is you just gotta keep everything well lubricated. It'll be all right.
Yeah. You never know when a hand might go up your ass.
Spit is the devil's lube. Am I right?
Hey, work fucks me in the ass every day. So.
Oh, no. We're doing this.
Yes.
We are doing this. Jeez, I don't even know how to get out of this. It's good to see your faces.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Yeah. It was
Well, you were off doing important things for real life.
Yeah, important things, Corey.
yeah, real important things. Oh man.
By important things, we mean him and his wife are making another baby.
No. Definitely. That's again. No. No, I was out of town and I saw Stephanie and it was a good time. Super fun.
By the way, why is the euphemism "let's make a baby"? What?
Wait, how do we get back on this? Like, LeRon just told.
LeRon, how long has it been, huh? Since you've quote unquote attempted
tried
to make
making
a baby.
It's been a little
man
bit.
baby, I guess.
A little bit.
Little man baby.
It's been a little bit. Like, wait, why is this about me?
Because you're the one that keeps bringing it up.
Oh boy.
Oh man, it was a good weekend though. I enjoyed myself immensely.
I'm done.
Yeah. Well, Anyways, glad to see you both.
Yeah.
Nice to see you in this 4x3 window of a Zencaster recording that's sort of pixelated.
Hey, we are glad to be seen.
Yeah, better than nothing. You guys are probably one of the friendliest faces in my life at the present time. So,
my God,
I love you guys.
That sounds so abysmal. Oh my God.
Yeah, maybe it's a conversation for another day. Just know I love you and I appreciate you, and seeing you makes me happy.
Yes, that sentiment is what is it? Reciprocated? Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
English is hard. My brain is like 3 other places right now, and none of them are good at the moment. So,
all right, we need to help redirect Corey's thoughts here. And
yeah, speaking of redirection, we're going to talk about canon and timelines for games. Mostly because I saw an article go up on bossrush.net about the Zelda timeline, because apparently Echoes of Wisdom has a place on the timeline now. Is that what I was reading? And so,
yep, and there's going to be a future follow-up Boss Rush banter on it too. So,
oh boy,
yeah.
That Zelda timeline. And so, and we know Nintendo doesn't really care about this stuff, but a lot of other games do care about timelines. And
they don't care about this stuff, but, and we'll notice in the banter when it gets published, they care a little bit, because I don't want to spoil the banter, but long story short, it's Nintendo didn't even put Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild in the actual timeline. They just said it's somewhere way at the end, not connected, except those two. Nintendo could have easily just have not said anything for Echoes of Wisdom. I'm not saying Nintendo cherishes the timeline. They still made it up because the fans demanded it, but I'm just saying they could have just walked away from it too.
Yeah. You think there's a Zelda lore Bible out there that has like the entire timeline written out in like this giant set of binders in Miyamoto's office or Anuma's office somewhere?
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so. Because I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen like any of the Halo like the lore Bible, but it's like it's in like those thick three ring binders, like 3 or 4 of them that are like this thick, full of like just lore of Halo and the rules they have to follow when they make a new game and stuff. And it's like, oh my gosh, no.
Wow. Well, yeah, it's lore heavy. I mean, we all know that Nintendo holds a reputation of putting gameplay first over story, whether that's good or bad. That's literally to anybody's taste. But
yeah. But the question for this pre-show is: do you think games should hold? Like, do you think they should hold on to their canon and timelines, or do you think they should just be able to make a new game willy-nilly without the consequences of the old games?
the way I see it is, I feel or maybe just me, I have to treat it like any other form of media. You know, do people scrutinize timelines and universes that much in movies, TV, books? I'd say yeah, but mostly by the consumer. So I just feel like, I guess it goes back to the Nintendo principle, right? Like, is the game primarily built off of gameplay or is it built off of story? If it's built off a story, you just out of good, not business practice. As a writer, I'm saying out of like a good storytelling, you should be consistent with your lore, or else you're going to be all over the place and confuse the reader. But if you're a gameplay first type developer or publishing a game that's gameplay first, I mean, each game can still exist in its own vacuum. So I hate to be that person, but I say it depends.
Yeah. LeRon, what about you? How do you feel?
The writer in me says yes, like there should, like, you know, like games should stick to canon. But I also know that if we look at, you know, using Legend of Zelda act, because I was honestly going to, when I first saw that we were going to talk about this, I was actually going to throw Legend of Zelda up there, like, yes, because, like, I mean, like, it's hard keeping track of like these stories and stuff like that. But once you sit down and realize that sometimes the mythos is just that, a mythos, and it's more like how, like, think about how all of our fables and fairy tales have been changed throughout the years of over the course of history, as more people have, like, you know, like, delivered them as stories and stuff like that. I can kind of appreciate what games like The Legend of Zelda does, because, like, you know, like, you guys know me, like, using Zelda. I'm more of the isometric, like, top down Zelda fan, you know, stuff like that. So, like, all these games are in the full 3D access plane, really throw me for a loop and stuff like that. Now, yeah, they have good stories and stuff like that, but once I started realizing that, once we got past, honestly, A Link to the Past, once we got past that game, then I started to understand that, you know, like, these are all different stories told using either the same iterations of characters or using the same iterations of, like, the world and stuff like that. So, you know, Zelda, I was going to give a hard time tonight, but they get a pass, you know, because, like, it's storytelling and it's all unique in the lines of the games. Now other series, like, you know, like Metroid, for example, yeah, like, it needs a hard timeline, because, like, there's nothing fantastical about a sci-fi epic, you know, and stuff like that. Um, and so, you know, like, I guess it's like a grain of salt with me, but the writer in me is always going to say yes, like, games should be held to their canon and their timelines and stuff like that, you know. But some games are just going to be, you know, like, their own enigmas, like the Prince of Persia series, you know. um the Super Mario games, for the most part, seem like they have an established canon. I mean, like, most of the stuff that happens in previous games are, you know, into the next game and stuff like that, you know. Like, look at Mario and Luigi Brothership, for example. They've incorporated everything for all the past Mario games. So I think the only thing they're kind of leaving on the table is like the Paper Mario stuff. But for the most part, like, all the stuff that I've encountered in Mario and Luigi Brothership is stuff that's either happened in the previous Mario and Luigi games, or has also happened in, like, the Super Mario realm, you know, this Super Mario realm, the Mario Odyssey Galaxy realm, and all that stuff. Like, so, like, I think that's kind of cool that all that stuff is happening and stuff like that. You know, And of course, like, like when we go outside the Nintendo sphere, because it seems like I've just picked on a whole bunch of Nintendo games. We go outside the Nintendo sphere, like, yeah, most almost all those games are sticking to their own timelines and canon. Everything from the Ratchet and Clanks to Last of Us to freaking the Resident Evils, oof, the Dead Spaces. All of them are sticking to their canon and their established timelines, and I appreciate that because like it just keeps me from having one big ass fucking headache when I play these games.
Yeah. I guess my opinion would be, kind of up there with Stephanie. Like, it depends. It depends on the series. It depends on the game. Because, you look at something like Uncharted, right? Where like there are things that happen in that world, but it's kind of like, I think the only one that really you could place them all in order somehow, right? And I think they can go in any order except for 4, right? Like 4 clearly goes at the end, but like, it's kind of like Indiana Jones where like any of these stories could take place at any time, you know, even though there is kind of an established timeline, it doesn't matter. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but then you look at something like The Last of Us where there is a clearly a defined timeline, you know. So I think you can look at it that way, and then Zelda obviously, right, is just, you know feels like they put that timeline together for fans. Like Stephanie said, it just kind of feels like, okay. I mean, remember everybody was debating the timeline, and then they put the three-way split in Hyrule Historia or
Mhm.
whatever, and everybody started freaking out like, "Oh, we didn't even think about if the hero died, that would be a timeline." Well, so uh but I think gameplay, Nintendo clearly focuses on gameplay for most of their stuff, right? So story isn't really like a major concern for them. But then you turn around and look at Sony, and they are all about stories and these massive AAA experiences that tell great stories and show off graphical fidelity. And you can see what happens in the second, from the first game into the second game or whatever. And then you have Xbox, who just doesn't really know what to do anywhere except spend money. So, um, but yeah, I mean that's kind of my take on that subject. I wish games would. I wish games would be a little bit more lenient on that stuff, but I think it's more of, kind of what you said, Stephanie. It's kind of more of like from a fan's perspective, and how, because we're all fans of things and we all want things to be correct to our fandom. There's like, for me, it would be like Ninja Turtles, and like the Michael Bay produced Ninja Turtle movies are like, oh, those aren't my turtles or whatever, right? And I go back to the 1990 original movie and be like, yeah, that's what I want, But then, there's a whole generation of kids who are watching that new movie and that new cartoon on Paramount Plus for Ninja Turtles, and they're all into it, and that's their turtles. And like,
Yep.
I think you just kind of gotta balance out the fandom versus the generational gap. And our generation gameplay was king. Now this generation, well, I guess a generation behind us, story was king. And now we're back to the social aspect of games is king now, right? With Minecraft and Fortnite and Roblox and that kind of stuff, right? And I know Stephanie heard enough about that today, but um so yeah, that's kind of my perspective, I guess. um I think canon is important, but it also depends.
Yeah.
So, nice.
Yeah. And also for the folks out there that are really hard, and this is coming from someone who loves lore. Like, I play games for story and lore.
Mm-hmm.
It's fiction. In the end, it's fiction. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we want cohesion because we want stories to make sense. But in the end, it is
Mm-hmm.
also just a story.
Well, then, not to spoil anything, but you get into like the Silent Hill 2 remake, or like the Final Fantasy 7 remakes, and like how these kind of turn into almost multiverse stories in a way. just to compare it to like Marvel or whatever, right? Where that certain things happen that are, maybe or maybe not different from the original. And some people are excited and some people are angry. I don't know what those things are because I haven't played either of them, but just hearing those things on the internet.
Yeah, the internet's always angry though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
True.
And then LeRon, Dead Space remake. That the real ending or the secret ending or whatever, was that different from the original? Was that new from the original?
That's new from the original. But that's how like it ties Dead Space 1 to Dead Space 2.
Okay, I didn't know if it was like hinting at like an alternate thing or not.
No, it's not. No, it's not alternate ending at all. Actually, no. It's just a fun ending to explain how we're gonna get from the events of Dead Space 1 to the events of Dead Space 2.
My cat's breath smells bad.
Hmm.
Stinky.
That's a man. We're back to buttholes. Okay.
I never said anything about her butthole. Paxil, don't listen to him.
Well, animals lick their butts. Butts smell bad.
Smells like fish. Okay, she had fish for dinner.
Yikes. On that note, we're gonna wrap this pre-show. Thank you for listening and supporting us on Patreon. If you're hearing this, you are a patron, and we appreciate you. We'll see you on the main show. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Long.
Farewell.
If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.